Hi, I'm Melissa Doganick, and I have with me today Sarah. And Sarah has a great makeup blog. So, my purpose of this video today is to show that no matter what condition you have, when you go and you reach out to others to show you're not alone, this is the kind of thing that can happen. You can meet someone else, and you're going to see right away that you have a connection and you have things to talk about. And that is really important to me because I felt very alone when I first was diagnosed with alopecia as a child. And I didn't know many others. And by reaching out to communicate with other people with alopecia, I feel like you can create a bond and you share things that, not anybody can just share. And so it's really great to and have me have this interview today with Sarah. And we're going to talk to her a little bit about what she's up to and share some insights on alopecia for those who are joining us today. So, hi, Sarah. Have we met before ever?
Hi, no, I don't believe so,
Yeah.
Melissa. This is the first
It's
time.
crazy, right? So Sarah and I are meeting for the first time. We are part of a connection of a different group outside of this one, and through that we've met. And I said, hey, let's just meet blindly online and show everybody the connection you can have when you meet someone else. So, Sarah, when were you diagnosed with alopecia areata? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi guys. I was diagnosed when I was 3 years old. I started losing my hair, and my eyelashes and my eyebrows followed. I've had alopecia for quite some time now and been completely bald. I have not had any regrowth. I've had like sporadic eyelashes, a little bit of eyelashes, some eyebrows, but for the most part, nothing really has ever grown back. And I've never chosen to do a treatment or anything like that to see how that would work.
Yeah.
So basically, I went through middle school and high school wearing a wig. That was by choice. My parents gave me that option. And, thankfully, I really came into myself around, I would say, eighth or ninth grade was when I started to really be open about talking about my alopecia. Before that, I would hide my alopecia and just try to, people would notice I had alopecia because no eyebrows and I wasn't drawing them on at that point because I didn't really know much about makeup. But
Yeah.
I would blatantly be like, no, I don't, no, I'm not wearing a wig. like, until, yeah, I reached about high school. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to be more open about this. And ever since then, I've been very open about it, but I've still chosen to wear wigs because it's what makes me feel comfortable, makes me feel beautiful. Definitely not trying to hide anything. Just want to be comfortable and feel my best self, which is how I feel my best self is wearing hair pieces, all different colors, styles, everything like that. So,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I think that's really important, Sarah, because I'm very similar in that manner. I wear hair sometimes, I don't wear hair other times. And I think, you don't need to be completely bald every day if you choose not to do that. And I think of I call it my, head accessory as something that's an extension of myself. And if I'm putting on a hat or a scarf or whatever, I do like wearing wigs because I do, like you said, makes me feel beautiful. And, I just love that you are able to do both. So, thinking about your family when you were first diagnosed, you were 3 years old. So, you basically grew up with it. How is your family dynamics with that?
Yeah, so I definitely heard about, the hair falling out and everything through my mom and my dad. My mom definitely told me when she first saw the hair falling out, she had no idea what was going on. She was really, really scared. She took me to multiple doctors. I ended up at a dermatologist talking about different types of injections and things that could be done. But my parents um, always felt like they wanted to wait until I was old enough to make that decision for myself.
Yeah.
So my parents have been very supportive, especially through a lot of bullying that happened to me. I went through some really, really severe bullying,
Mm,
um, alopecia,
mm,
and, um, and my parents were just really always there for me through it all. Um, my whole family really was. No one else in my family has alopecia. I am the only one.
yeah.
But I definitely never felt like an outsider around my family. I always usually didn't have my wig on. Um, and yeah, so definitely support it.
Did your family educate the school system or anything like that to help you kind of guide you through the the grades and the classes to kind of make other children feel like there's nothing different about you other than you don't have hair, you're not sick, and
Yeah.
you're just fine and you have interests like any other child.
Yeah, so my mom, because I should mention before middle school, I only wore a hat. So I'd wear a hat to school. And now the interesting thing was that in my school area, kids weren't allowed to wear hats during school. And so I was the exception to that,
Yeah.
which made me stand out, obviously. Wearing a hat was something I wanted to do. At that point, I was not comfortable with my alopecia, who I was, and I definitely wasn't comfortable having kids stare at me. So my mom did have to come in and, speak to the teachers. The teachers definitely watched over me a bit more, I would say,
Mm.
than other kids. And sometimes that was a good thing. Sometimes it wasn't such a good thing. But as far as like speaking about alopecia to the classes and things like that, or to the students, not necessarily. When there was a problem or something came about, like bullying, that's when my mom would
Yeah.
definitely speak up and speak to the school about, this is alopecia. A lot of kids would talk about me having cancer and things like that. There were rumors that I ripped my own hair out, just some really nasty things that went on. And so that's when my mom definitely helped a bit with like educating people who were bullying me. But for the most part, I didn't want to draw too much more attention to myself. So I think I
Yeah.
kind of put away in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think, what have you learned along the way? Again, like if you were talking to someone who's newly diagnosed with alopecia or as a child alopecia, what are something you would say to someone who's newly diagnosed about how do you handle going from the loss? Because it is an identity, emotional condition to lose your facial hair and the hair on your head, and certainly to the an alopecia universalis from head to toe. So if you were talking to someone who's new with alopecia, what advice would you give them? What do you think they should do to kind of first steps?
Yeah. The number one thing I would say is to do something I wasn't able to do, which is lean on a community. And we
Yes.
have a huge community here. You're a great example of that, Melissa.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
we have a big community of people who have gone through, this process, and you can connect with these people who you've never met face to face. You might not even meet face to face, but you have this connection through alopecia, and they can guide you to help you with that. And even sometimes just seeing people that look like you or are going through the process like you, losing their eyelashes, eyebrows, it can be so helpful. And I didn't have
Yeah.
that when I was a young kid. So that would be the first step, whether you're a kid, an adult, is lean on the community, join the different types of groups on Facebook, read up blogs like Melissa's
Yeah.
blog,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, that would be first step for me, definitely. Yeah.
Are you comfortable with taking your hair off? Because let's do it. I think we should take our hair off, and we'll finish the interview without hair, so we can show people that both Sarah and I have had alopecia for a long time. So sometimes this is a big event to be able to show others what you look like without hair. So I asked Sarah if she might be willing to do the rest of the interview without hair to show other people we are comfortable with who we are. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Definitely.
let's do it.
All right. Here.
God, whew, it's breezy in here. I would say, I try to keep things positive in my own life. I was a support group leader for some time here in the Philadelphia area. I don't think I asked you where are you from? What state are you in?
Massachusetts.
Ooh, I grew up in Massachusetts myself. I'm a New England girl at heart for sure.
Really?
Yeah, so see, it's like great to have a connection. It's only until we didn't have hair on that we really were able to assess, the best part of our connection. Um, so again, I like to keep it really positive because there's so much about alopecia that that you do struggle with in the beginning. And I know that you've started your alopecia makeup site. It is on Facebook. So if you could tell people a little bit about what brought you to want to do this, in your life and to share with other people, because to me that's what makes you special. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so back in 2019 was when I would say between 2018 and 2019 was when I really got into drawing on my eyebrows and figuring out how to put on false eyelashes and, on days where I wanted to get dressed up, to be able to do that. And I didn't really know too much about makeup when I was in middle school and high school. And so basically in 2019, I decided to start the group Alopecia Makeup Tips to kind of share ideas with people and get other people's ideas who have had alopecia or just getting alopecia, hair loss in general, to see what they've done, how they've created their eyebrows if they've chosen to, and also kind of bounce ideas off each other. As I did more research, as I, did a lot more YouTubing and all these different Pinterest, all these different websites, I started to really learn how to freehand my makeup and make it look pretty good. So I want
Mm.
to share those tips with people, and it just grew and grew and grew. And now the first year, I think we had less than 1,000 the whole first year. And now just years later, we're at over 3,400 people. So definitely a big group of women now.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I wish that I had just someone to connect with, certainly when I was a teenager and learning about makeup and putting makeup on. And listen, I'm a hot mess. So I'm going to study your site for sure. I have figured out the lashes. And at one point, I had permanent brows, which a lot of people with alopecia do the permanent makeup. But they have over time faded. It's time to get that touched up, girl. Um,
Yeah.
but actually, I have to share before this call, I tried those stick-on brows that you can put on that look like hair, and then you put a little powder over it. They look good. They didn't look good on me. I think I was doing it wrong. I don't know. Like one was in a different direction, and
Um,
I was like, "This is perfect timing."
yeah. It took like 4 times before I got them remotely like in the
Like
same.
even, I know. And then like one was too close, and I was gonna say, to someone else, like, does this look off? Because I knew it's it. So right before the call, I quickly wiped it off and then just drew them on. But I know a lot of people do struggle with the eyebrows in particular. It is hard to get them even and sort of looking the right way. So if anyone is interested in permanent makeup, you can always go to a cosmetic surgeon and make sure you do it with someone who has done permanent makeup before, because our alopecia skin is a little bit like cheesecloth in the fact that it's cut really thin. So sometimes with any tattoos, they need to go over it several times for it to take. So be surprised if the first time when you're getting a tattoo, you need to go back for a bit of a touch up, because that does happen. And so I know other people do even get their eyeliner done, and which I did 1,000 years ago, but it is a little bit faded now. Did you ever do permanent makeup, Sarah?
No, I never did. No, I truthfully, I didn't start doing my eyebrows. I want to say in the past 5 years is when I started to do
Yeah.
them. I just kind of let them be what they were, and I had a little bit of hair, so I think I used to actually put some eyeshadow on them and just kind
Yeah.
of blend together a little bit. Um,
Listen, we work it. Whatever we can do to make it work. Oh,
Oh,
it's so good to meet you, Sarah, and I thank you for joining today. And anybody that's here, my new site is crownedwithalopecia.com, and I also want to ask you to please reach out to NAF, who's a National Alopecia Areata Foundation, for anyone who has alopecia and hasn't been a part of their group. They have some great videos on their site. It's great for parents and couples with alopecia, and certainly for the newly diagnosed and those who've had it for a while. Can be leaders, and they have conferences where you can support others, and that's something that I just love. And the whole purpose of doing this is to be a community and reach out to others. So, as you can see, Sarah and I just met today, and listen, we're already best buds. So,
yep, exactly.
um,
Thanks.
thanks for
Let's,
being on with me today, Sarah. I am gonna stop the recording, and I hope everybody's subscribes to the channel, and welcome me into the new YouTube platform.